So, tonight on the podcast, I can already tell this is going to be fucking hilarious. My good friends from the WBKB, Peter Gilmour and Kevin Thompson.
I feel a bit silly now I'm wearing this. It's been a good crash before, I thought it was going to be funny. Take it off.
It's alright. So, upcoming shows, loads of stuff going on with you lads, isn't there?
Yeah.
But let's start at the start. Kev, all started with you really, didn't it? With your MMA career back in the day. I think, did you made your MMA debut in the park or something?
Well, funny enough, that's kind of how it all started. Yeah, I got into a couple of scrapes in town, and Alex Cook was the first lad. I went to Alex and I pestered him. I was one of them people. Every time I was drunk, I always said to him, I want to train with you, I'm going to train. It was every weekend. In the end, it was just, yeah, whatever, Kev. But I ended up showing up one day to Trevor's class with him and Alex, and yeah, who was he training for at the time? I think it was he Bisping? Am I right by saying Bisping?
Couldn't tell you, back then. That was before my time.
Christ. Yeah, well, Trev gave us the gloves, put us right into sparring because I was being a clever ass. I said, I just want to go in, I want to fight. I don't think I'll need much training. By the time he threw me about, cut us in arm bars, left, right and centre, chokeholds, made an absolute fool of us, and then threw me the gloves to train with Alex, and yeah, Alex busted us up for my first sparring session. I've never done sparring before. So it was a lesson. So after that, it was 2 years. I didn't fight till, it took us 2 years to train properly before I fought then, so it was an eye-opener. Yeah, found my feet and then got a fight 2 years after that.
And you had a great start to your career, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a good start.
So how many did you win on the bounce?
It was 9-0 at one point, 5th in Britain at the time.
And again, back then, that's like in the old days of MMA, so it was still the cage fighting, wasn't it? Yeah. You told people what you did then and what you were involved in, and they were like, cage fighting? Well, it wasn't like it is now.
It was never heard of, was it?
No, you were a pioneer.
I think now, you go back to the camps that they've got, the modern day training, like the coaching that people's getting. We had none of that, it was rough and ready, just throw your hands about, get good at boxing, get good at jiu-jitsu. The training's unreal now though, I sit and think, if we had that back then.
It's changed so much as a sport, hasn't it? Like everything about the sport, the training, the preparation for it and that.
It's scary now.
Back, yeah.
Like the best of the best at what they do, the 5-minute rounds that they're going to operate in these belt matches, it's disgusting, a disgusting level of fitness.
Yeah, it's money, isn't it? Money involvement in sport. If there's the money there, you've got stuff like the science and everything that goes with it, haven't you, for the training and that, and you get the best people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. So, tell us, first big fight, what would you say was your first big fight?
I think it was Total Combat was my first in. It was a tournament, so it was 2 fights in one night. I fought a lad called Ian Rush.
Ah, yeah.
That wasn't. I fought a lad called Dave Metcalf, and I beat him, TKO, and then I fought a lad called Ian Rush in the final and got a British title for the final. So it was a 2 in one night, that job. That was my first big win.
Did you fight Rush twice?
Yes, I fought him at Warren Working. No, that was at a later date.
Yeah, I thought. No, I'm not on the same level. I thought you'd fought him twice.
Yeah.
And then on to where from there?
Now then, I went all sorts of different directions. Like I said, I didn't take my training as serious as I should have. I was taking them lastminute.com, not training properly for something, but I was still doing well. Then I got a Dennis and Sutherland, I think it was.
Ah, yeah, remember that.
And I got, his fitness was too good for us. I was used to I was winning 1 round, I wasn't used to getting took out of the second round, so my fitness showed. Yeah. But again, learning curve now, know what I know now, that's probably where I should have. But hey, I've done it.
Ah, that's right.
I've done it. Linton Vassell, I fought Linton Vassell. That was a big name at the time.
Yeah.
He got I think it was an armbar. He beat me with an armbar. That was the second big name that I got. Where was I at after that? Christ. Was it?
I tell you what, I always remember Medford the Cage when you fought Rob Truesdale.
Oh yes,
That was a good
carry
night.
on with that one, wasn't there?
Yeah. I remember it was really rude to you before the fight. You know, after the weigh-ins, it was really rude to you, wasn't he?
But it wasn't just then. I think it was all the shit talk on social media and.
Well, again, he talked a lot of shit after it, didn't he?
Yes, and it was after it, so that led on to Martin, didn't it? So obviously he was calling Martin, and Martin wanted to go up to the gym, mistakes with the place, and then they ended up having the fight themselves, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I beat him with a chokehold in the end.
Yeah, you did.
Best way to shut somebody up, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I can remember as well. I don't remember you letting go that fast.
No, I think that was one of them. I did let go eventually. I didn't go too far, but I just kept it on a little bit longer than I maybe needed to. Just
teach you a lesson.
Teach you a lesson, I think, yeah.
And then after that, so we went to Bama, didn't we, in Birmingham?
Bama, so I fought Max Nunes in Bama, was it? Yeah, that was a big fight. And I was out of my league, totally out of my league. I fought a guy there he was just too good for us. He showed in the fight. He hit me that hard, my fucking dad felt it. That's how bad he was then.
And you know what? So thinking back though, because was he before or after Rico Rodriguez?
Oh fuck! I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
Forget that you fought the ex-UFC.
So Martin was meant to be fighting him at the time, and that was down at Essex.
Yeah.
And I think Martin felt poorly, or he was bad fettle and couldn't take the fight. And I thought, 5 stone difference. How often do you get to fight your heroes?
That's right.
UFC champion. Yeah. So I told the promoter, I said, I'll come down, I'll take the fight. That was with a day's notice. The 5 stone didn't really show because on my feet I felt like I was the better fighter. I caught him out a couple of times on his feet. I think it was 4 minutes 45, and I remember Freeman shouting this because he was on top of us. He was throwing shots, but ultimately he got us in a fucking armbar. His groundwork was just better with his weight.
Yeah.
So I should sitting thinking now I should have held it out, But I was tired as well.
It's easy saying that in hindsight, when you're not in there anymore.
Oh, Freeman fell out with us for that one. He proper took sulk with us for that fight. But yeah, again, fought one of my heroes and I've done it,
Yeah, that's right. And like I said, ex-UFC champ, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Amazing to fight somebody at that level. Yeah, amazing to fight somebody that's like an absolute legend in sport.
It's funny, because at the time, Fast and Furious was getting filmed, and he was going to meet Vin Diesel after that fight in the after party. He was talking, he was going to meet Vin Diesel. I was like, listen, let me well, clear up the face, lads. Picture in the background. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good career, really, good fighting career. Been there, done it.
Yeah. And then into the BKB.
Yeah.
Wasn't it from there?
So that was a scratch that I needed, a niche that I needed to scratch, so that's the word I was looking for. I've talked to you about it a few times, haven't I? I kept saying, something that I want to do. I watched the Gypsies and fancied my chance off. Just wanted to go at it. But then the opportunity comes, so I'll leave this to Peter. And long story short, he said, I've got you. I can't remember how it come about. We were talking about it for a little while, weren't we?
Yeah. Essentially, like Kev said, look, I want to have a go at bare knuckle. Can you get me a fight? I said, yeah, that's fine. Next thing I'm trawling on the internet and up on Facebook, light heavyweight wanted for this Saturday. That was Tuesday. So I'm like, right, Kev, there's a potential of a title fight here on Saturday. I'm aware he hasn't really done any training or anything like that. So I rang him and I said, Kev, there's a chance of a title fight. Ex-UFC fighter, Gordon Relic. Kev says, give us an hour and I'll get back to you. An hour later, I get a phone call. I've just been on the bags and I'm feeling good. Let's take the fight. So that's
sitting there. Yeah. Oh, I don't feel that. I think I can do this. Stop us in.
So basically, that's the training camp. It's like the money's on the table. It's like fuck it. Let's go and have a go. It's a massive fight in the Echo Arena down in Liverpool.
Go big or go on. We said, didn't we? If you're going to do it, fight, let's go to the top level. There's no point in picking your fights.
And you did you right to the top, didn't you?
Yeah. But that was a reality check for us. But I think it was that fight there, I thought it was going to be a street fight. Yeah. Everybody always said, bare knuckle's just a street fight. It's not a fucking street fight. It's not. how do I explain it? It's two, well, at the time it wasn't two skilled lads, it was one skilled lad boxing me fucking head off. But it's a skill, you know, you're up in front, it's constant punching, so it's street fight, you know, it could be already in 3 seconds, someone splits it up. This wasn't the case, you know, so I remember hitting him, honestly.
I remember
fucking wall there, like
he took up a left hook, and he's a cack-hander, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he sort of stepped like half a step back with his back foot, and you proper fucking walloped him.
Yeah.
And I had you on pads before the fight, and it was earning my hands through pads, and you fucking walloped him, and I thought, because it was a rough night, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah,
but you fucking tagged him in the second round, and I thought, we could be on to something here. And honestly, he took half a step back, and then he just walked for it again. And I was like, it's like the fucking Terminator, isn't he?
Even that first punch that he gave me though, I'm sure he broke my cheekbone on that first punch, but it's something I've never experienced. For that pain and that, you know, like that. Obviously, it's not the same when you fight because you've got your adrenaline and everything else. But I felt it is what I'm trying to say. You know, people say, "Oh, you don't feel like you fucking do."
The odd one you do. You do.
But yeah, it was just
a surreal experience, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like as an example, you had Jim Freeman, the promoter, and the weigh-ins were 12 o'clock at Liverpool, and he's ringing me at 11:30, and he's like, "Is Kev still on target? It's ready for 12 o'clock," and I'm going, "Yeah, he is." We were only at Penrith at 11:30. You know, I knew we weren't.
Yeah, that's a familiar story for going to shows, isn't it?
The whole thing, you know, there was like Cockney guys strutting around with chains worth about as much as a house in West Cumbria, fancy Jaguars, and you know, wearing the Pizza Express. There was I think she was a Latvia or Lithuanian lass with the biggest breasts you've ever seen, and she just couldn't stop laughing at us. Me, Kevin and Alex Cook was sat there, and she just kept coming over and just laughing at us, and we were thinking, what's like, it was just, the whole experience was just...
Turns out Alex had his flies down, that's what I'm joking.
Either that, or she'd heard the story about him on a rowing boat, I don't know. Yeah, could have been either.
Well, even afterwards, I remember apologising, because after the fight, and it got stopped, obviously, as you know, and I was like, I knew it was going to get stopped. My face was in a mess. But even afterwards, when we were walking back, I remember I apologised. It was Dave Courtney, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dave Courtney. I said, "Listen, sorry, you know, I didn't want it to end like that. Get it stopped." And he was patting us on the back. But just seeing him, I know it's like, you know, we don't say that up this way, do we? You see him on telly, he's a big gangster, and so it was just like Gilly says, it was just a great experience. You know, from start to finish. I mean, the recovery process wasn't brilliant, but you know, all the experience of that first fight.
And it didn't put you off, did it?
No, it didn't. No, that's. I think that's when reality is. You know, I had to give myself a bit of time because I thought, fuck doing that again. I think I had something to prove. I had to do it proper. You know, I had to train, put a proper camp in. You know, get my hands right, and then have one more go just to say, well, at least I put my full effort into that. Hence, we trained like fuck, didn't we?
We did.
We done a good camp. And obviously we got the shot for the British title against Mason Shaw. I'd come up, we took it, and ended up getting a result against.
As they say,
got a result against Mason Shaw.
Stopped him in the second.
Cut on the eye, wasn't it? One of the best experiences of my life.
One of my best nights as a coach, probably my best night as a coach. And it's massive big show.
It's another thing that folk don't realise as well, isn't it, that on that night, every single fighter was told that was going to be the first night where instead of fighting with wraps,
that's right,
exposed knuckle, but it needed both fighters to agree to it. And the only two fighters, fair play to the pair of them, that agreed to do it on that night was Kev and Mason Shaw, and that was the night history was made, because really that was Britain's first ever fully legal.
Truly bare knuckle.
I know there's been a bit of a campaign behind closed doors that fight should be in some sort of bare knuckle hall of fame because of like what it represents for bare knuckle boxing.
It's a significant moment in it, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Sam the Cutwoman raps off the WBKB.
Sammy Morris.
That's right. She was on about doing a podcast talking about that. Obviously, history was made that night. So and again, just a little achievement. I know it's not a big deal. It's fucking huge, you know. For our little town up here, nothing goes on, and you know, for us to like carry that name.
It's straight in the fight game, innit? And you know, the thing is, you know, and this is what I say, it's like Bartek and lads like that. Bare knuckle's very new now. Remember, like we were talking about the lads like Rico Rodriguez back in the early days of the UFC when nobody really knew it. That's where BKB is kind of at now, isn't it? But as in 10 years and in 20 years, people are going to be looking back at what you lads did. there's like big moments in the history of the sport, aren't there?
And look at what's come on now. You know, you've got your Danny Christie's, your Aggies. You know, these people. Like, we've got a lot of talent up our way. You know,
we have
a lot of talent up this way.
Let's be honest. Call it as it is. Folk like Kev and Martin and Alex Cook, Mark Hodson, Trevor Cunningham, put Cumbrian MMA on the map.
Yeah.
And since then, people have continued the good work that they've done. You know, it's a little bit of a bugbear man when folk talk about putting Cumbria on the map. Cumbria's been on the map for a long time, across so many, you know.
Think where like you and Martin and Alex were all rated in Britain. On the online ratings, and that you were all in the top 10. And we all 3 of you guys were top 10.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, people forget stuff like that, don't they?
Things like that are easy to forget, though.
Think of the lads that you three fought between you.
I know.
You know, you think Alex fought Bisping and a raft of other great lads, didn't he? He was IFL in America.
One step off UFC, wasn't he? You know, he was there with the tryouts, wasn't he? You know, you're right. You know something. We've been bypassed that. We look at the talent now, but you never go back. You know, I suppose we have always been on the map, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it goes back to know the origins of everything, doesn't it? Where it's history in general, MMA history. You know what I mean? You've got to know the origins, respect the origins of where things have came from.
I think what it was, it just wasn't as big back then up here. Does that make any sense? You know, like
absolutely.
I think that's probably what I'm more meant to say.
Well, yeah, like I say, you look back 20 years ago when I first got into it with you lads. I was working in school and that, and I'm like, I'm coaching boxing to like guys in MMA, and like, oh, what's MMA? And I'm like, you know, like cage fighting, and they were like, really? And it was like they had that thing, it's like human cockfighting. That's what they used to say, isn't it?
But you think back then, that was kind of the emphasis, wasn't it? You know, like I sort of watched like the Cage Rage highlights on Sky Sports, and there was all Dave O'Donnell, cage fight, you know, it was never like mixed martial arts, you know, the emphasis was on the cage fight.
I tell you, you've got to figure about Raddy as well, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, you go Mad Raddy.
Absolutely.
You know, that's a name that we didn't mention there. He was like Cage Rage Laddie Cell, wasn't he? You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Mad as fuck as well.
So, after winning the British title versus Mason Shaw, in retirement,
you know, something a lot went on family-wise. You know, it wasn't I did want another one. You know, Mason was wanting a second. You know, he was wanting a rematch, and understandably, but at that point in time, you know, I was getting the call out, and there was a lot of shit talk. But ultimately, I put to him, I've never backed out of a fight in my life. I said, it's not a case of backing out with you. I had a lot of family issues. You know, things going on. I won't go into it now, but there's a lot of family issues and things like that laying on my mind. So I had to get them sorted before anything. And I think in that time, I'd realised, you know, people had talked to me, I'd say to myself, I still get that itch, I still want to fight. But ultimately, I've got too much going on. You know, like you realise you get older, you haven't got that same, I don't know, that same energy.
Your body's not the same anymore, is it?
The working full time, you know, I've got my own business now, you know, there's the kids, you know, there's a lot going on. So, yeah, I think that's when we talked about, we said, we've been talking about it for ages, putting our own event on. Pretty used to do the box events with yourself, obviously, you know, that was used to this thing. I'd always talk to Martin about putting it on, you know, Kelly said, I'd love to do my own show. And that's when we talked about it. I said, why don't we do our own bare knuckle show? Why don't we do one?
Yeah.
Can we?
Yeah, I mean, do you know, just touching on the boxing show, I mean, it's you know, you think back now, I think me and Dave both couldn't have wished for a better mentor than Mark Hodson.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, you know, learning from Mark was absolutely unbelievable. And then obviously we you know, we had the Clash of the Titans, and then you look now, you know, like my path has taken me to beat WBKB alongside Kev and Kelly, and I'm really proud of everything that we're doing. And Dave, you've gone on and really become the godfather of Cumbrian strongman events, and really put Cumbria strongman out there for everybody. And you know, and so it's kind of, you know, you've gone in one direction and I've gone in another. But I think, you know, the memories from the Clash of the Titans days and the
we had great times,
like, you know, the best of times. I think it just shows that, you know, in life things just come to a bit of a natural conclusion, and then you move on to a new chapter. And I think it's just great that the way that we wired up is like, it's not a case of well done on Clash of the Titans, get the pipe and slippers. It's like next challenge. What's next?
You produce champions. That's what you've done. You've produced champions. You know, coaching.
You're one of them, mate.
Yeah. Let's not put out. I keep forgetting. I don't know why I did, but you got your Warren working. Your Mark Hodgson's.
Yeah.
The events that they had. They were big events.
Again, that was even like I came on board at Warren.
And we were all part of that. We were all part of that. But yeah, another good event. I just thought I'd mention because I didn't bring that up. But that was another big event, wasn't it?
Oh, it was so massive. They were brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, WBKB, I came to I've been to them all, haven't I?
Yeah.
Ref the first couple. Honestly, the first one, I was blown away by what a good job you did. And do you know what, it has got better and better. The last one, the production quality in that was fucking fantastic. The atmosphere is like nothing else, isn't it? The atmosphere is fucking rabid.
It is, it is. I think, sorry, Dave. Go on, man.
What have we got coming up on this show coming up?
Can I just take a step back from that?
Go on.
Go back to when we first set off, because we did say, like, go from, like, when we first talking about a bare knuckle event, people were like putting us down, saying you'll never get a bare knuckle event. You'll be lucky to. You'll have to make a mix of, I don't know, MMA fights, fucking glove fights. And we said, you know, like, we're not doing that. That's one thing.
Yeah, you stuck to your guns.
We're sticking with a bare knuckle event or nothing at all. If we're going to do a WBKB, set off Whitehaven working, West Cumberland, whatever it may be, we said that's what we're sticking to. We're going to stick with the bare knuckle. And people shot us down, didn't they?
I mean, unpopular opinion of mine, if you are a show that is bare knuckle but does hybrid boxing, you're a combat sports show.
Yeah.
If you're an MMA show that does boxing and MMA, you're a combat sports show. Yeah. That's my opinion. If you're like us, we are a pure bare knuckle boxing show, because that is all we do. And it would have been very easy for us to have tried to pad out the show and said, oh, let's have a couple of glove fights on and just get a couple of ticket sellers in, and you know, but we I won't lie, that was Kev's idea, because the first one I did think, right, there's a couple of glove fights we could, no, it's bare knuckle or nothing, and it's honestly been the best decision we've ever made to continue down that path.
It was a joint one. I know you said it was my idea, but we both told her. You just said if that's the case, we might have to. I think I was just more stubborn-minded in the sense of I said, no, we're not doing gloves. If it means just having 6 fights that night, we'll just have the 6 fights and shorten the show. But I think it was 9 fights we had that night, didn't we?
Yeah.
Granted, they weren't all brilliant. You know, we had some lads, but I think this is part of what we've found out as promoting now. We get lads that come up here to take a knee. You know, we realise some lads just won't pay, but this has took it a learning curve for us to find out, hang on a sec, fuck off, we're not paying him because I know he's, you know, his record, he's a well-known fighter for coming up here and taking. So we've kind of pieced, we've got a good background of it now, good knowledge of it, haven't we?
I think we've now, the last show I think we nailed it, and I think we've now got a really good steer on the matchmaking side of it, and I think sometimes it'll still fall down, but it's like you look at this next show, we've got an Italian guy coming over from Napoli with a documentary maker. Now his boxing record is 15-1, so you're thinking, right, see,
obviously fight, can't he?
He's boxing a guy from Wales whose white collar boxing record is 22 wins and 2 defeats. So the pair of them are coming here with like,
you know, these guys are coming to
boxing pedigree, isn't it?
That's really good. And it might, you know, we can't predict how the fight will end on the night, but we can say that we've matched 2 highly skilled boxers, and it'll be interesting to see how those guys get on, you know, like say we've got like Kasim Salim stepping over from professional boxing into bare knuckle, big heavyweight, how he gets on, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. I genuinely think this time we've just got nothing but 50-50 fights, and I would, you know, if you said right now who was going to win, you know, I'll really struggle with the predictions. And the thing that I love the most is that these lads are just becoming the best version of themselves. Like I've just come from the gym down there, and Daz Nicholson's looking $1 million. Richard Hodgson, the improvement in Richard Hodgson, in my opinion, more physically and sort of in his life in general.
He's up there with one of my favourite fighters, Richard. It's a
you know what?
To see how
the way he's changed his life, and honestly,
that's
the
what
way
it
he
is,
trains, he goes to the fucking death.
Well, you just need to see with his weight cuts, don't you? I mean, and I don't mean this disrespectful to that, but he used to be weighty, you know, like
yeah, he did. I will say that's
you know, that's where his head was. But to where he's come now, that's why I think when I say my favourite fighter, not necessarily for his fighting ability, but the effort that he puts in, and his energy. You know, like you go back to the interviews and he's up bouncing about. His energy is brilliant. You know, it
doesn't matter what he comes in gym at 7 in the morning and he's like that at 7 in the morning bouncing because he's already been out. He'll have been out since 4. He'll have done like 10 mile with dogs and fucked around and done this and and then come to the gym.
And I think what we've got already, because I think obviously it's a sport that's very new, and I think you look at some shows and they've still got like brawlers, if you know what I mean. Whereas I think we've already got shows that are basically full of sportsmen. You know what I mean? The guys who can't just box. The guys like Sam Purdy seem like doing high roxies and things like that. The lads who can, they're athletes basically, rather than just being scrappers and fighters.
Well, I'll see it as it is, because you've got these events up and down the country where they're mismatching fighters. They're not the same weights at all. You know, like the weights just are miles apart. You can see it's mismatched. The lads that we've got up here, they're doing proper camps, they're doing proper weight cuts, and you see that when they're coming in, they're all fucking starved, thirsting to death, itching to get on the scale so they can go and rehydrate themselves. That's the difference. He's been a bit polite with what he's saying, and we've got hours of doing it. It's a proper show.
It is
an half-hour show where people,
it's brilliant.
You know, just like, well, fuck, Gilly's not going to fight. Let's match him up with fucking such and such. We've got lads there putting proper camps in to fight each other, and it's like you say, it's unpredictable. You don't know who's going to win these. These aren't. You know, it's 50-50.
Again, mentioning Daz and glove boxing. Daz was 7 without a loss in glove boxing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I tell you what, he's looked brilliant in the gym. Like, he looks better than him. He's 42 now. He looks better than him. He's always looked after himself. He's always kept himself in shape, hasn't he? And honestly, he looks great at money. Like.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a bit of a new lease of life. To be honest with
absolutely.
You. It's fantastic.
So this year coming up, what fights should we look out for?
So we've sponsored Sam Casson this time round. I will say I've been watching I didn't really know Sam before this event, but I've been watching him doing his sparring and his bits. I think we're in for a good fight with Sam Casson. I think he's one to watch out for. He's fighting
Dylan Dylan, he fights under Dan Mohammed. He's coming up from Glasgow for the fight.
Again, not to muck about.
He's a kickboxer with a 7-1 record. So you know he's a tough kid, but like I say, Sam does look impressive in sparring.
He's sharp, isn't he?
Yeah, I just think there's so many intriguing fights for me. Like we've got Claudio Hazim coming over from Italy, and we've got high hopes for Claudio, but yet at the same time, he's boxing a guy from Rotherham called Will Harper, big red. 6'7", 14-3 boxing record. He's beat likes of Anthony Holmes in gloves, you know, and he's. I watched him on the pads at the media day down in Bern last week, and I was like, ooh, this guy's. And the thing with him, he was originally supposed to fight Corey Harrison, and Corey got a good offer to go and fight Lucas Brown. Every time I've went back to Will Harper and said about a fight, he's just basically back and said, just give us your hardest fight.
Yeah, he's not picking the jerseys fights like a lot of people do.
That's awesome, isn't he?
He backs his ability so much. I
tell you what, not many lads say that when you're matchmaking shows. I did it a long time, didn't I? Not many guys say that.
The far end of the farts.
Oh, they do, yeah.
I just think there's so many, you know, like even, obviously you've got your local fights, obviously people got to look at Smith versus Blakely, because if that's anything like, if I can get 3 rounds of what they give us for 5 rounds, I'll be doing cartwheels again.
Breathless, wasn't it?
You know,
unbelievable.
That was just...
there was a smile from that side of his face to that side. I was more watching his face in that fight because the smug look on his head, because he'd matched that fight up. You could just see him.
It's going to be one goes off like that, isn't it? When you match one and it's striking him.
What a match-up it was like.
It was amazing. But do you know what? Best fight I've ever seen in the flesh.
Yeah.
Obviously because I was in corner, I couldn't enjoy it because I was that fucking stressed.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, looking back, just the fucking action, and it was like,
what
wow.
Everyone wanted to see. Everyone got the money's worth.
Yeah.
Blood.
It was. Do you know what?
Knockdown.
And I don't say this very often, and like, because it's not true, but that fight was worth the admission fee.
Yeah.
If you'd seen now Chelsea and all the other, there was loads of other good fights. If all the other fights had been shite,
I get what you're saying.
You'd have just went out thinking about that, and you'd still go back to the next one in case that happened again. Because it was brilliant, wasn't it? Fucking brilliant.
You know, and I think that's where it's like, you know, personally, right, back your own. Like, you know,
Yeah, that's right.
You've got a lad there, Martin Smith. That win was absolutely phenomenal. And like, you know, obviously it's like, this town should be right behind the lad.
Yeah.
He's trying to push himself on the big things, and he's making all the sacrifices. And it's like, get fucking behind him. Never mind these fighters from where, like, never mind all bred me on YouTube, all that fucking bollocks. You know what I mean? You've got a hometown lad there who's a legitimate fighter, who'll fight anyone, who's trying to make his...
Aye, will fight anybody, man.
Get behind folk from your own town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stop being like, you know, all this like, I think sometimes folk would rather see lads like that fail.
Yeah,
It's like, you know,
I
get behind
think a
him.
lot of them will.
You know, so you've experienced it, I've experienced it. That's a small town mentality. I mean, I do feel it's getting bigger, and I'll tell you how I know, because of the crowds that we're getting. I mean, we had a sellout. We're already on to a sellout on this one. You know, like, that's
Yeah, the crowd's
difference.
massive and it's unreal.
People were drawn in, and it's, you know, like, it's the right crowds that were drawn.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the amount of women that's actually watching it now.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I don't mean that in a sexist way, but you
No,
know,
yeah, that's right.
You don't get that, no. But this time round, it was, you know.
Well, do you know, again, the production value in that, it's like a nice night out, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it looks nice and that.
Hassle free, good.
You know,
crack.
when bare knuckle first started and they were fighting in air bales, I thought it was fucking shite.
It was.
Because, do you know
The
what?
fighters were shit at all.
Well, you grew up wanting to be a fighter. When you were a young lad wanting to be a fighter, where did you want to fight? Big fucking stadiums and that. Not in fucking air bales in front of a bunch of
There was an excitement about that hair bale thing. That's what like it kind of captured me, was that violence.
I know what you mean.
It's something that, you know, like, oh, I'd love to go at that, the violence of that.
Because the first time we went, the first time I'd ever been to bare knuckle was when you fought Relich. And I come away from it a bare knuckle fan.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really, until we went, I wasn't really that asked about it. Because again, the standard of a lot of the fighters that you're seeing in the air bales and that was shite, wasn't it? But then going there and seeing
Proper boxers.
the top level of bare knuckle, because that's what it was at the time, wasn't it?
Tyler Goodjohn fought that night, didn't he? Was it Tyler and that he fought the Scottish lad? Who was it he fought?
See, because he was class, Tyler Goodjohn. I don't know if he's still kicking around doing stuff now.
I don't think he's doing so much, but I know.
But I'll tell you what, he was a guy that early on, around that time when you were getting in the league, he really impressed me.
To be honest, I think, I don't know about Kev, but I think it probably had an impact on me coming away from that show, because looking at it, right, BKB as they were then, to me kind of set a bit of a standard.
Yeah,
I came away from that event and I thought, that's the kind of event that I would like to, you know, just how they've done things, or everybody was paid on the night, everything was, like, you know, everything worked seamlessly.
That first one was dead well. Like behind the scenes, was really professional.
Do you know, and dare I say, I actually still think in this country that BKB probably still are the benchmark in terms of how they run their events and things like that. You know, I know BKFC is like all singing and all dancing, but I think the way in England, the way that BKB still run their events and things like that, I still think, you know, they're a prolific company, but like you were saying, you know, that's where we want to be. That's the aim for the future. We're not just here to be stagnant and let the grass grow under our feet. You know, we've got big plans moving forward to take WBKB to other parts of the country, take the show on the road, and, you know, like I say, we've got our eyes on some of these bigger venues and things like that.
Brilliant, eh?
We're not far off it. We're not far off it at all, are we? It's just, I think you just need the events in now, don't we, to get where they are. They've started where we are. It's building, and each, like you said before, each show that we've done, we always put something new in, don't we? We always that last show we had the ring lights, you know, we've never really been out of fog, we were just setting up, but we're like, well, it was a bit of extra money there to put it into them lights, you know, like, so each time we are doing something bigger and better, so it's not a case of, oh yes, we've made a shitload, because it's not the case. As much as, you know, that's what we like, it's not at the moment, we're building something, you know.
Making loads of money isn't the reality of fight promotion, unfortunately, unless you call Dana White.
A lot of stress is the reality of fight promotion.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
That's why I don't do it anymore. It's just fucking hard work. Strongman shows are easier. They're just more chill talking organised. So, and it's an easy life.
But like such as this next show, and we can't wait for folk to see it, we've actually managed to get a customised ring. So the ring for this show, the side skirts, the corner, like the canvas, it's all the ropes, everything is basically going to be WBKB branded, and it's going to look $1 million, because, you know, again, that's our reinvestment into making the production value of the show even better.
And you've got to work on the branding and that, haven't you? You've got people to see it and recognise it, haven't you?
Oh, you just go back to, I mean, the live stream that we had the last time, like the quality of it, and everyone said it was getting watched in Hong Kong. It was Simon Kelly was watching. He said, honestly, Kev, he said, I was watching, he showed us his view in Hong Kong, fantastic, by the way. And he said, I was watching, he said, the quality was absolutely fantastic. There was no blips, there was no like, you know, when it goes off fuzzy and everything. I said, the quality was fantastic. So again, just another step up what we haven't had. And now we can do that because we're selling out shows, so.
That's right,
we can afford to do the pay-per-view, you know, and it still didn't do bad, Gilly, did it, you know?
And it'll only get bigger.
Yeah, of course.
Things like that. You know, because again, you know, you're going to put on bigger fights with bigger names in bigger venues. That'll draw more people, more eyes to it, won't it?
Well, the amount of folk that like contact us now, you know, you think like say from the first show where it was a bit like contacts were very few to now all of a sudden the amount of good managers that contact us with really good stables of fighters. You get overseas fighters messaging us. We've got guys who fought on the BKFC that often inbox us and say any chance for a fight, guys, and you know, and we've got a good relationship with both of the big two companies as well. And I like to think that's an endorsement of what we've done.
Yeah, of course it is.
And you know, it would have been very easy for us to shoehorn more events in, but I think we decided to go for quality over quantity. You know, and basically walk before we could run, and I think that approach is paid off for us.
Oh, it absolutely has, because it's flying.
It's worked. Yeah, you said, I mean, we keep going back to some of these bigger names. Like, I don't think, again, we overlook what we've got locally, the talent that's coming. We've already had BKFC, you know, they've took lads off us quite rightly. You know, they're paying money or whatever it is, you know, where they can go further. But we're producing some good fighters locally.
You bring in big names in front of it. David Round and Sam Pill. That's a great fight, isn't it? David's a really experienced guy, really well-known guy. 97 fights. Is this his 97th?
So he's actually retiring.
That's what I said.
This will be his 97th event, 97th fighting done, and it's mad. And you know, like you talk about a guy. He once fought in the heavyweight tournament in Denmark. I don't know if you know this story or not. So he had to be a minimum of 90 kilo. So he hopped on the scales and he was 87 kilo in the heavyweight tournament. And he's like, oh shit, what am I going to do? So he said, can I weigh in my jeans? And the organisers were like, yeah, no problem. His corner staff went out and got him like ankle weights. So he put his ankle weights on, jeans over his ankle weights, hopped on the scales, 90 kilo David Round. He says, first round, won, got to the semi-final, won. He says, oh wow, 90, like not even 90 kilos, and I'm in the final of a heavyweight tournament. I said, how did the final go? He said, I got matched against a guy called Volkan Ozdemir, UFC fighter, because he fucking smashed me. You know, and it's like, you got all
He'll have some great stories to tell, won't he?
Oh,
because he's been all over than that.
Yeah.
Like that Welsh accent makes it as well. It's funny to start off with, isn't he? Yeah. Tortures the life out of everybody.
Absolutely.
Right, so, next, we've actually got some viewer questions. Nobody asked Kev one. They only want to Gilly to talk. So
they know the good looking one on the outfit.
I've got a good fit. I maybe know a couple of them's off.
Well, we'll see if you can guess who they come. We'll see. We'll play. Can you guess who the question? The first one is to Peter. Where's Carl Ward at? Do you know?
Where is Carl Ward? Well, if you want to find Carl Ward, if you go down to the Cross Keys chip shop on a Friday afternoon, you'll find him there having a humpback wheel and with his hands on him that look like he's done a chin championship with you know, where is the, do you know, so I don't know where Carl Ward is, but like I say, and he's, you know, we actually talk about this where we do all need a little A little catch.
Well, the last one was class, wasn't it? We all had a meet up at Carlisle. It was what a good crack it was. And we don't do it enough. I think
we should do it sometime.
We should just book it and get it sorted.
Definitely.
Because I don't know about you two, but I'm being called, you're a divvy, you're a queer.
Do you know what? That's what we'll do. I'll sort something else.
Okay, let's get it done.
Right. Can you guess who that was from?
I'm going to say Big Ian.
No.
Oh.
It was actually Larmo. Next one, again for Peter. What's your favourite pie?
Oh, now then, what is my favourite pie? That's a bloody tough question, you know. I'm going to have to say, a few years ago, Mark Hodson put me onto the, I can't think which pub in Keswick it is, and they do this.
The big cow pie.
They do the cow pie. That cow pie has got to be, as you can tell, I'm a man of many pies, unfortunately. But the cow pie, I think it's maybe the Oddfellows Arms at Keswick. So if you're watching the Oddfellows Arms at Keswick and you want to sponsor, yeah,
Why do you think folk keep getting you and Carl Ward mixed up?
Well, if Carl was answering that question, he'd say because we both a pair of handsome bastards.
And that's exactly
He's not what he'd say though. He's not what he'd say.
Carl would say we're both 18 stone of muscle steel and sex appeal. But in truth, we're both bearded baldies who need to lose some weight. But Carl's younger than me, but definitely looks old.
He'll tell you to still speak for yourself there, won't he?
So, can you guess who that was off?
Big Ian.
Yeah, that was it. What about the favourite pie one? Can you guess who that was off?
Oh. I'm just trying to think who asked that kind of question.
Rebecca. Now the last one, and see if you can guess who this one's off. How do you think your Labour Party are doing at the minute?
We've gone down a dark hole here.
Right.
Do you know it's off, for starters?
Go on.
Very good friend of yours. It must be something that you've had the odd political debate with.
Ben Nixon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
so
right.
go on, how do you think? Ask him how he thinks his Labour Party are doing. That's what he said.
Can't believe we're going to go down that.
No, let's not. Let's not.
I mean, how do I think that...
Pressure. Because there's a fucking room full of swords, and you fucking name it.
So I'll quickly go on. This is the issue though. So, right, come the last election, did I vote for Labour? Yes, I did. Who do I vote for normally? I'm very open-minded. You've got to earn my vote. Labour pretty much got it last time by default, because after the fuck up with COVID, and how many folk they killed, and how much of our money they spunked away, and we're still paying for it now, voting for the Conservatives was never really an option.
No.
Reform haven't really shown me anything serious yet at the moment. So, you know, in terms of how Labour doing, shit, do they need a new leader? ASAP, we definitely need a new Prime Minister. Wouldn't vote for any of the parties at the moment, win it. If there was an election tomorrow, I think I would have to look at one of the more outland, you know, like the outlying parties, because even like Reform, they had one bloke, Rupert Lowe, who seemed to be serious about immigration, and they stitched him up and booted him out of the party.
I've joined the Advance Party.
Well, you know, maybe something like that's the way.
Right on for mass deportation of illegal immigrants.
I thought I am myself.
You know, but like I say that, you know, for a man who flew on a holiday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but still needed to book a hotel the night before to get his rest in for his holiday at 2 o'clock the following morning. That wasn't a bad question for him.
Right, so quick fire question round. These are just a bunch of random shit questions I came up with. We'll go, who's going first?
Gilly, he's on a roll.
Go on.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Ambitious, hard working.
I see I'm not clever enough for these quick rounders.
Humble.
What's your favourite country and why?
Favourite country and why? Oh, it's got to be Spain, hasn't it? Just because I like the heat and the food. I'm a big tapasy guy, so is that a good answer?
Yeah, that's good.
Fucking get on.
Who's the biggest bell end you know?
Oh, you mentioned it before.
biggest.
Come on, don't pull any fucking punches on it.
I know. Ben Nixon for asking us a political question.
No!
You should have went Starmer there, was it?
If you could have any animal at all, what would you have as your dream pet?
Oh, dream pet, a monkey. I've always wanted a monkey.
I knew you were going to fucking say that. Peter, what's your hidden talent?
I once fit about 42 Maltesers in my mouth at a Kev and testimonial event.
I'll have to take you on at that. Because I think I can give you a run.
That sounds like a challenge.
I think I can give you a run for your money there, Peter.
How many brown balls can you get in your mouth?
Depends on size. Kevin, what's your favourite song?
Favourite song? Oh, God. I've not got one. Sorry, I've not got one. I'm crap at music. I'm an 80s guy, yeah.
You can pick an 80s song.
Gold.
Fair. If you had to row across the Atlantic with someone, Peter, who would it be for company?
Oh, anybody at all?
Anybody at all.
Be careful, yeah. Might be your favourite guy.
Well, it wouldn't be Alex Cook because he'd get cramp in his arms halfway across the tunnel. So I'll go with, just because of like the entertaining side of it, I'll go with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. I think he can tell me all about playing Mark Kerr in the Smashing Machine movie.
Oh, I can't wait for that film. You know, I'm ready for that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
I'm not really asked about many films, but I want to watch
The
that.
book's a lot better. I like the book's a good read.
I've never read. I've seen the documentary like 50 times, haven't you? Because it was like the only one back in the day, wasn't it? Whatever, mate. What's the most disgusting thing you've ever done?
Oh, I once picked a dog shit up, soggy one, and put it in me. I can't say the person's name. One of the neighbours that was giving one of my family some shit, and I put a dirty dog shit in the tumble dryer tube. Bare-handed.
That deserves a clip. We're going to clip anything.
Yeah, we'll make a reel of that, definitely.
It's reeled right up.
What was best day of your life, Peter?
Day my daughter was born. Absolutely. Day my daughter was born.
Kevin, who's the toughest person you've ever met?
Toughest person I've ever met? Oh, Christ, the toughest person I've ever met. Oh, Jesus, who would it be? Ever met or fought? Or like, does it anything else?
You know, sometimes you get like that vibe with people, don't you? You just think you're a fucking tough one.
I don't know, I think the toughest person, I mean, it's got to be Goran Reljic.
I was going to say Relic. I've always said that he's the toughest dude I've ever met.
It's got to be, just we fight him as well, because I've never been frightened of no one, you know, like, I'm still not, but after fighting the guy, and, you know, just the damage, you know.
Can you remember, if you're watching Goran, don't take this personally, remember how fucking big his head was?
Yeah.
It was like a microwave oven.
It was,
wasn't it? And he was just a fucking chunk.
That's the biggest head I've ever seen on a human being.
Big fucking head.
I'll tell you what, try fucking facing him right like that, he's not fucking big together.
No, I was nervous just watching you. I was just watching you do it.
No, I think that's my answer, that's got to be...
Yeah, fair play. Peter, what did you want to be when you grew up?
That's what I wanted to be, a professional footballer. I used to always spend like all my time at school practicing my autograph, thinking that I would need to be a professional footballer.
And you should have been practicing your football, eh?
And now I think of all the things that I need my signature for, and unfortunately an autograph isn't one of them.
What is your most treasured item?
Oh, my most treasured item? Oh, it's got to be my Hoover. I don't like people playing my Hoover in the house. I'm a big cleaner, so I like to keep that nice and clean and empty. That's my treasured item in the house.
Gilly would swap me for you anything. Yeah. What's the thing you love most about bare knuckle, Peter?
The thing I love the most about bare knuckle, I think it's just the sense of community. You know, I think it's a sport where everything always just gets left in the ring. There's no bullshit. There's no, like, you see all these boxers who are all hype and no substance. I think it's just a sport full of guys who want to come, want to fight, and want to respect each other. And I think that's the thing I love most about it.
Who's your sporting hero, Kev?
Sporting hero? Oh, it's got to be Chuck Liddell. That was my favourite sporting hero. That was growing up. That was my hero. The UFC legend.
It was the painted nails that done it, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what it was. And I copied.
Yeah, I remember. I remember when years ago when Rebecca was really loud, you came in the gym and Rebecca's going, Dad, He's got painted toenails.
You know, go back to when we talked about Rico Rodriguez. I remember fighting him, and was Essex had a big toenails painted then. I remember the ring girls stood beside us. There was an introducing us into the fight, and I could see them like nudging their heads at each other. I remember wiggling my toes. Yeah.
What's the best fight you've ever seen?
Ooh, the best fight actually in person ever seen.
Yeah, in the flesh.
Do you know what? I'm probably going to have to say
Martin and Sam, you can't look past that. It was the best I've ever
That would be
seen.
my answer.
yeah.
Yeah, best fight I've ever seen. That.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if, you know, and I think, you know.
And do you know, to put it into perspective, do you know what it knocked off top spot for me? Because the best fight I'd ever watched in the flesh was Franco Tenaglia and James Lilly.
Yeah.
And that was fucking unreal, eh? And Martin and Sam topped that.
Class.
It was fucking wild. If you haven't watched that fight, Martin Smith and Sam Blakesley, honestly go and watch it because it's fucking wild. Your favourite historic sporting moment?
2005 Champions League when Liverpool come back from the dead against AC Milan.
Brilliant.
In Istanbul. Because, you know, like I was down in the pub that night with all my mates, and you know, like the despair at half time, we were all there just like absolutely like, oh man. And then obviously Liverpool come back, got even 3-3 and won in penalties.
That was awesome, wasn't it?
It was absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because let's be fair, like I think what stands out for me with that, it was, I don't really view, not like in football, when a team goes 3-0 or something like that, the other team usually hasn't got the character, you know what I mean? And it was more of the display of heart and character to come back, because I think usually it's like that game over, you know what I mean?
Heads go down,
yeah. And it was like just that rare bit of grit and determination and football that really caught my thing that night, yeah.
Steven Gerrard was inspirational, wasn't he?
It was, absolutely.
So, our final bit, just a quick word association round. So I'm going to say something to you, a word or a name or something like that. First thing that comes into your head, you've got to just say.
Okay.
It's a monkey banging two symbols, isn't it?
Ding, ding, ding.
Who wants to go?
Scopper's in the room with 10 men. I'm happy at that. Fucking question time. Fucking do that on question of fucking sport here. Right. Now on the losing team. Go on. I'll fucking go. He got the easy questions when he went first before. I'm hoping these might be easy questions. Go on.
So first thing that comes in your head, BKFC.
Leading promotion.
Kev, Conor McGregor.
Legend.
Peter, rugby union.
Gay as fuck.
Tory.
Kevin, Keir Starmer.
Wanker.
Peter, sausage rolls. Kev, Brett May.
Gobshite.
Glove boxing.
Declining.
Jake Paul.
Growing on me.
Do you know what I did like? Because again, I don't like the celebrity boxing thing, but he paid a lot of Ben Askren's medical bills, didn't he? And I thought, like, fair fucking play on that.
I'm wanting because he's not actually a bad boxer either. You know, like he's improving every time.
You know, he's trying, isn't he? And do you know, he's just living the dream, isn't he?
Yeah.
He can afford to fuck about playing and being a professional boxer, can't he? Most of us couldn't. That's why folk are jealous, aren't they? MMA.
Peaking.
Dana White.
Hero.
The man who is the promoter.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
Legend.
And that's us. So, thanks very much, lads. WBKB, when is it? October 4th?
October 4th.
October 4th, honestly. Get the live stream. It will be fucking class. even if I didn't have fighters on, I'd be going to watch it myself. It's an awesome night of fights. Get yourself there. Thank you two for coming on.
Absolute pleasure, Dave. Thank you.
I'm sure I'll get you back on some other time.
I'm pretty sure you will, definitely.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. It's been
No, absolutely.
I'll thank you after you've edited it and you've done all your bits and pieces, you pair of arseholes.
If there's no you don't like, see him.